Hello, a little controversial topic, but please hear me out. Okay, I think no one really cares about automated tests, about unit tests, about test-driven development. And why should you even care about testing? Okay, let me explain that, right? What you care about is your software working. You care about that you have a spec, you have a contract with your customer, and you care about that the spec is met. So let's say you have, like, this is the spec document, and you have like feature A, and feature B, and feature C, and feature D. And on the other hand, on the other side, you have, of course, you have your code, but you also have your test. So let's say you have this one, this test, and all these tests have very nice names. So check for null when something, or check case A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't know, right? And because we have so nice tools for testing, we know that, like, for example, this test covers this part of code, right? So there is if you think of code being like in the background, sorry for no pausing here, but if you think code as code being here in the background, then because we have these nice coverage tools, we know, okay, this part of code is already tested by this test, right? So we can draw a connection here. But what we cannot draw a connection to so far, at least I've not seen any tool that can do that, and I'm trying to, like, tell you, please make this tool, right? This is the intention, right? You want to have a tool that connects these two, right? So you want to have a tool that says, you have these tests, but what are these tests related to, right? This test is testing this behavior. This test is also testing this behavior. And this test is also this behavior, testing this behavior. So these three tests verify that this requirement is met. Okay? And maybe this test is also kind of testing this requirement. Maybe that's not good design. I don't care, but that's not the point. The point is that you want to have like a connection here. And the connection must not be the name that a human being reads and then say, okay, that's probably this feature. So what you want is like a programmatic connection. For example, could be an annotation, right? You could say like add test, add requirement B, right? And then some tool knows, okay, this test is for, or this function, the tool doesn't need to know about tests because we have many test suites that would make things difficult, but the tool could know, okay, there's a test, this function, whatever, is related to this part, right? This is enough for the tool to know, and then we can, like, I don't know, this line that is written in this part of code base could be printed like somewhere in the tool that and draw this connection. I hope you understand what I mean. And the important point here is that no one cares about that. It's not important if we're talking about unit tests or integration tests or manual tests, right? It's the same thing, right? People always talk about, yeah, we need a test manual, or we have this test manual. But the problem is you write the spec, you write the test manual, and then you hope like someone figures out how they like are related to each other. It's the same problem. That they need to have a connection, and this is the same. This connection should not only be limited to like automated tests. So even your manual test book could be, oh, that's the wrong color. Sorry, let's use brown. There should be also a connection between these two. So imagine like your testing book is, let's say it's written in Markdown, right? It should be written in Markdown because then you have nice, you can track it very nicely in Git. So now you can draw a connection between the manual test as well and this test. So you now know that this feature is only tested by a manual test. And you also know that this feature is only tested by exactly one manual test, right? So maybe you look at, if you see this, you look at this and see, maybe one test is not enough. Maybe, and this is manual. Let's figure out if we can make it different, right? And when you see this kind of picture here, you immediately see, by the way, this feature is not tested at all. No unit test, no integration test, no manual test, nothing is testing actually this feature. Is this actually implemented? And then you start like thinking about your code. Maybe it's already implemented. Maybe these tests is already testing it, so it just forgot to make a connection, to draw a connection, right? Might be true, but it immediately can tell you, okay, there's something wrong. The spec and the code doesn't meet, like they don't match. Sorry, the spec and the code don't match, right? And this is what we actually need. No one cares about automated tests. You care that your spec is met. You care that when you have a contract over $1 million, that contract is fulfilled, right? You don't care about, oh, but we have all these nice fancy tests and we did it with test-driven development and every part is working so nicely. But if you cannot say that this part of code is like really connected to this spec part, right? Then it doesn't really help you. It's like in the clouds. If it doesn't make sense in English to say in the clouds. Okay, maybe it doesn't make any sense. Bad translation. But I hope you understand what I mean. So if you know some tool that can already do this, please write in the comments. Let me know. Enlighten me, please. I have not seen any tools so far. I hope like something like GitLab would implement something like this. I think this would be very nice. I think this would help software development extremely. The one thing that you have to care about is when you have this, or like, you know, this kind of has to be one system probably, right? So that's the reason why I'm thinking of GitLab. But of course, it's not enough to just have a system that can like, oh yeah, in this system you can write requirements and then connect it. Of course, this system that allows you to write the requirements must be a complete system with all the features you need, right? See many people still writing this stuff in Excel and Word and stuff because, yeah, there are so fancy, nice tools out there, but all of these tools in the end lack one feature, like one or the other, right? And this makes the tool like unusable or not really better than all the other tools. So for example, let's say GitLab has all these requirements functions, but if you cannot export the requirements and send it to your customer as a PDF or Word file, then well, it doesn't help you because you need to connect with the customer as well. So you need to go in this direction as well, right? So this makes all this very difficult. But to put all this together for this video, yeah, you need this connection. This is very important. I think if we would have a tool like that, software development would become much easier.